Hey, peace world, Wood here. Get into a little bite down boxing talk. I got into it on here with a fellow boxing podcaster a few years ago because I said my thoughts, my true feelings on Canelo Alvarez, especially as it pertains to him being the face of boxing, a top 3 pound for pound guy, or the number 1 pound for pound guy. However you want to look at it. And someone tried to get me together, and I'm whatever, man. I'm just like, with the metrics that the generally accepted metrics. What has he grown boxing? Have things gotten any better underneath him? And I'm sure, yeah, I'm sure that on site, at the gate, at the venue, I'm sure that's pretty good business. And that's an important part. But with all of these guys that he's fought the last several years, what's been the return on that investment when it comes to paying his hefty guarantee? That's 4 and 5 times bigger than the next guy. I'll be honest, I also had a chip on my shoulder when Premier Boxing Champions seemingly couldn't get the bag together to make the fight between Errol Spence Jr. and Terrence Crawford. But they would bend over backwards to go out here and give $30 and $40 million to Canelo. But a few weeks ago, Matchroom Boxing's Eddie Hearn said something that caught my ear in talking to Chris Mannix. And he respectfully, because we see that's where he might have, now I see why he was playing it, he was straddling the fence. But he kind of spoke on the reasons why you would get in business with Canelo Alvarez as a promoter, in that you could only get him to do so much, but he's earned the right to call the shots and yada yada yada. He said, but when you have to take care of his guarantee, things get dicey. And you can only come to him with certain opponents. And he was like, he's a brilliant businessman. He's a intelligent businessman. He's going to look out for himself and this and that. And he said all of these things, but the way that he talked around the main problem was it foreshadowed what's happened in the last 24 to 48 hours. There's even, a couple outlets now have articles about Canelo Alvarez and Premier Boxing Champions mutually agreeing to part ways. Not even making it to the second fight of their 3-fight deal. And everybody had their schedule of, the list of the order of opponents that would be for. And then the last couple of weeks, Eddie Hearn has been out here like the next fight is Munguia. The next fight is either Munguia, and we still, because he doesn't have Munguia. That's not on he's not on his roster, but he's like, or Edgar Berlanga. And I'm like, nah, bro, the fight should be David Benavidez for the Cinco de Mayo weekend. So just some of the notes on what's allegedly transpired. Because if you get on social media, people are all over the place. And I really don't even care about the details other than we see the outcome. Reportedly, Canelo Alvarez did or did not want to fight Jermall Charlo after taking care of twin brother Jermell Charlo in September. All I can really say I can really just salute PBC if they were keen to the fact and firm on the position that we're going to lose everything trying to put on Jermall Charlo versus Canelo out, because I wasn't buying it. I didn't buy Jermell. I didn't buy that fight. Wouldn't have bought Jermell. And when I got in trouble with my fellow podcaster, when he tried to bring some smoke my way, part of it was that it may have been at the end or just the beginning with Canelo's fights can't say that they were pay-per-view at the time. But none of this stuff mattered when Canelo's fights were part of the DAZN app's monthly subscription. And he fought all of these Europeans that nobody really cared about. And then the mandatory of Avni Yildirim was thrown in there. But again, I'm sitting here like, is this making sense for the DAZN app and Matchroom? Are they getting anything out of this? Does anybody care about these fights? Like, when is the bill coming due for all of this? Yeah, he broke BJ Saunders' face, and that was kind of, I was actually looking forward to that one, to be honest with you. The Callum Smith ended up being a dud. And it's just like, and then, the Bivol situation blew up in his face. But anyway, yeah, a couple of weeks ago, Eddie Hearn started his interview with Chris Mannix, started pointing to, it kind of started to signal that people were taking a look at whether or not it's worth being in business with this cat. So, like I said, Canelo did or didn't want to fight Jermall Charlo. PBC is like, we know bad business because we've been doing it for a couple of years now. This March 30th fight with the debut show on the debut pay-per-view on Amazon Prime is indicative of bad business, which I won't be paying for that neither. Won't be streaming it or watching it neither. Honestly, I'm a little on the fence with the recently announced, or I don't know if that's been official now, but Gervonta Davis and Frank Martin. Not a horrible matchup, but I did think Tank Davis was primed, no pun intended, to move forward with bigger stuff. Unifications. I thought he was primed to do that. But yeah, Canelo. So then PBC is like, man, how can we get this dude to fight David Benavidez? We need an act of Congress, executive order. We got to give him more money. So reportedly, they offered some $55 million. Again, you got to go further in your pocket to appease this guy. I don't know what the language of contracts are, so if you already had the 3-fight deal with some idea of what the compensation was, now they got to go above that to fight the guy that you should be facing. However, all the boxing politics and the sanctioning bodies, mandatory, interim, whatever, David Benavidez is the guy. But you got to pay a premium to get him to fight the guy he should be fighting. And the way that things have shaken out, the way that the dust is settled, that's the guy. But now you got to pay him. Okay, so they put it out there. He still don't want to fight. Yeah, bro. Let's shake hands and get on out of here then. Let's shake hands and get on out of here. I can't lose what I didn't push to the middle of the table. So now Eddie Hearn could be in the driver's seat. They have a relationship. Saul and Eddie Hearn have a relationship. I'm gonna be honest with you. Wouldn't pay to watch Canelo Alvarez and Edgar Berlanga. Not paying for it. Munguia and Canelo Alvarez, keep it a buck. I'm so far removed from paying for fights, for having to pay from even being remotely interested in buying fights. I think the last one I bought, Arrow and Bud. I bought the heavyweight. That was too good of a value for me to pass on the heavyweights with AJ and Deontay on the same card. So I bought that. And that might be the only two in the last year and a half plus. I'm so removed from even considering. I'm not even receptive to none of the marketing. By the way, I saw that Haney and Ryan Garcia were on First Take. I saw the mention. I didn't watch the whole show, but I saw that they were going to be on there, and I was impressed by that. Salute to Stephen A. Smith for doing something for boxing. But Canelo Alvarez and Jaime Munguia, if I got to do something with my wife that night or some in-laws or whatever, I wouldn't miss none of that to pay for that, to be honest with you. And you can tell me what Munguia has done and how he's gotten better and new coach and this and John Ryder. Man, that don't make me dig in my pocket for $85. It just doesn't. This is no hate, no offense, no disrespect. This is not an affront to Mexican people, Mexican boxing, none of that. This is just a sport that continues to underdeliver and overcharge. And I've drifted away from it. And now here's a guy that seemingly, while being recognized as the face of boxing, has had very little concern in the quality of the overwhelming majority of his last several fights. Maybe going back to the rematch with him and Triple G, maybe. Maybe Daniel Jacobs was a fair fight. Whatever. Again, once the pay-per-views became the norm on DAZN, okay, I mean, I was asking, were those fights driving subscriptions? Were they maintaining monthly subscriptions? Who knows? But then you move it over to now these are pay-per-view events. I don't believe I bought the trilogy fight with him and Triple G. I did not pay for him and Caleb Plant. I just found out very easily that I can live without boxing. And if they and I don't mess with the streams. I don't have time for none of that. So, shout out to Premier Boxing Champions. I'm sure people want to talk about they don't have the money and this and Harvard education and blah, blah. I think it seems like they made a sound business move. Now I don't know what they have to point to Amazon, and it's the limited number of dates that they got for with the Amazon deal. And now you're just down to, well, we have Gervonta Davis. Sounds like Bud Crawford could be a free agent or what. I don't, whatever. So what are they over on? What are they? I asked the question when I had Ioli on here a month and a half ago or whatever. I don't know what we're getting all excited about in the PBC stands. It's not like you're necessarily taking a better product to Amazon. It's not like better business practices or best practices moving forward going to Amazon. Like, it's just more pay-per-views for us. So anyway, for the people that, if you're happy about Jaime Munguia possibly being the guy, or if Belanga did something against McCrory, who I never knew, never heard of. I didn't see that fight either. I don't have a DAZN subscription right now. But if you're happy about that, then so be it. But it's a wild time for boxing right now. It's a crucial time of what fights get made, what people have to come out of their pockets for, what these buy rates are. Like, everything is what did y'all's boy Cat Williams say? 2024 is the year of truth. Yeah, maybe across the board. Across the board. Do you get are all the bright lights there and the ring walkout is elite? For the most part, I guess the coverage is going to be elite. Canelo's been speaking more English lately and all of that. The co-main events, haven't all been that great. Him and Julio Cesar Martinez has kind of had some different issues and hasn't been involved with these. Whoever else is in the, I don't know, man. I just could. I'm focused more on my money than fattening the pockets of everybody else. I'm just looking out for my star player. So, interesting development in boxing. Again, no real, I'm not discounting, discrediting, casting aspersions, tearing down Canelo Alvarez's entire career. I'm not saying he's a bum. None of that. I just don't know how you sit here in this particular instance and you refuse to fight the guy that is the last guy standing, and you can get out of that, and it's just no big deal. He can call his shots. You can call your shots, but again, when you get money that very few others can get, what's the much is to whom much is given, much is expected, or whatever the saying is. Come on, bro. All right, man. Bite down boxer. Don't let them count you out. Peace.